Hello guys, so in this video I'm gonna show you all the shoes that exist for women. We're gonna see their origin and how they look, because in the near future we're gonna discuss all these shoes according to your body and to your type of legs, so stay tuned. Alright, let's go. Okay, so we go from the smallest to the biggest. First, let's talk about flip-flops. Flip-flops are named for the slapping sound they make when you walk in them. The term flip-flops first appeared around 1958 and became more popular in the 60s as beach and poolside footwear. Experts believe flip-flops have been around for at least 6,000 years. Next one is slippers. Slippers is a comfortable slip-on shoe that is worn indoors. Normally it's without heel strap. The word slipper comes from an Old English word slipper and slipor, which mean slip shoe. The oldest surviving pair of slippers are thought to be 10,000 years old. Next one is sandals. Sandals is a shoe consisting of a sole strapped to the foot. It comes from a word sandalon, wooden shoe. There are loads of different types of sandals, for example, gladiator sandals that gladiators in ancient Rome were wearing, fisherman sandals, flat sandals, platform sandals, heeled sandals, sport and slide sandals. They can have thicker and thinner straps and can have many different embellishments on them. Next one is a ballet flats. Ballet shows were performed in shoes with heels for almost 70 years, until Marie Camargo, a French dancer, decided to wear flat shoes for her performance. Then Italian shoemaker developed a special shoe with a flat sole and a special cut, ballet flats as we know them today. Now they're very popular and this is how they look. Next one is Mary Jane's. The most important detail there is the strap. The strap is always low on the foot, not on the ankle. These shoes were created in 1904 after the cartoon character Buster Brown and his sweetheart Mary Jane. Then they became very popular in the 60s again, when Twiggy and other models were wearing them. It was slightly childish, little girlish look. Now you can find many different models with high heels, with no heels, with low heel, with platform or no platform. Next one is moccasin. A moccasin is a shoe made of deerskin or other soft leather, consisting of a sole and sides made of one piece of leather stitched together at the top and sometimes with a vamp. The sole is soft and flexible, and the upper part often has embroidery or beading. Moccasins were originally worn by Native American tribes, hunters, traders, and European settlers. The word moccasin comes from the word macassin, which means shoe in the Virginia Native American language. They were designed to protect feet from cold, wet weather and harsh surfaces. Next one is dockside or boat shoe. Boat shoes are typically canvas or leather with non-marking rubber soles designed for use on a boat. There was a guy, his name was Paul Sperry, and he was a boater and a member of the New York Yacht Club. He invented that modern boat shoe in 1935 after being inspired by his dog's ability to run on ice without slipping. The shoe was designed to have a non-slip sole with a herringbone pattern of grooves similar to a dog's paw. Next one is loafer. Loafers are a slip-on style of shoe that is usually constructed in leather or suede. It does not feature any laces, fastenings, or other types of closures. It's a low-cut shoe with a flat heel and a thin leather sole. The term loafer was first used in the 1930s to describe a simple low-heeled shoe with no laces or buckles and an upper made from soft leather or suede. Some would insert pennies into the shoe's diamond-shaped slits to make a fashion statement, giving rise to the name penny loafers. Perhaps the word comes from laufen, to run. Nowadays, loafers can be very different. They can be more chunky or more delicate. They can be with metal chain or without. Next one is slip-on shoes. In the early 1900s, a Norwegian man named Nils Tveranger wanted to improve the design of a traditional laceless shoe that was worn by local fishermen and peasants. It was a tough yet lightweight slip-on shoe that was made from leather, and now slip-ons look like that. They have loads of different designs. They look very casual. Next one is Oxford shoes. Oxford is a type of lace-up shoe with a low heel. It's characterized by shoelace eyelets tabs that are attached under the vamp, a feature that is called closed lacing. Now this one is called saddle Oxford shoes. It's basically an Oxford shoe, but it's characterized by saddle-shaped decorative panel placed mid-foot Normally it's black on white color. Derby shoes, also known as Gibson shoes, are a type of men's dress shoe that are less formal than Oxfords. They are characterized by their open lacing system, which contrasts with the Oxford shoe, which has a closed lacing system. There can also be heeled Oxfords. There's also monk shoes. Monk shoes are a type of dress shoe that have straps instead of laces and are secured by buckles. They are considered a combination of loafers and Oxford shoes and can be worn in both business and casual settings. A monk is a man who is a member of a religious order in a monastery. European monks fashioned them in the Middle Ages as a more practical and protective footwear. There's also brogues. Brogues is also low-heeled shoe that looks slightly like Oxford shoe. It has these decorative perforations. It consists of several pieces and sometimes they have different colors, which creates very contrasted, interesting shoe. Brogue meaning leg covering. The Scots word brogue is also used to denote a boring tool as well as the action of piercing with such a tool. Next one is espadrille. Espadrilles are casual, rope-soled, flat but sometimes high-heeled shoes. They usually have a canvas or cotton fabric upper and a flexible sole made of esparto rope. Esparto is a tough, wiry Mediterranean grass used in making rope. The uppers vary widely in style. Next one is clogs. Clogs are a type of footwear that has thick, rigid sole, typically made of wood. Wooden clogs originated in Holland or Netherlands and spread to France, Germany, and Scandinavian countries. They became the most worn work shoes in Europe. The term clog from the Latin word calx, which means heel. Next one is mules. Mule shoes are a type of backless shoe that have no constraint around the heel or foot. They are usually closed-toed and can have heels of various heights, from flat to high. Mules are designed to be easy to slip on and off, and are often made with softer materials that cover about 2/3 of the shoe. Mules have a history going back to ancient Rome. Mules were bedroom slippers and not worn in public. Through the centuries, mules have changed in style and purpose. The word muleus means red and comes from the color of the red and striped red mullet fish, which was highly prized. Sneakers. A sneaker is a shoe with a rubber sole that is often made of canvas and worn for sports or casually. Sneakers are also called trainers or training shoes. The word has already in use at least as early as 1887, when the Boston Journal made reference to sneakers as the name boys give to tennis shoes. The name sneakers originally referred to how quiet the rubber soles were on the ground, in contrast to noisy, standard, hard leather soled dress shoes. Next one is Converse. Converse is an American lifestyle brand that sells shoes, clothing, and accessories. This particular model is a basketball shoes. They can go high to the ankle or they can be low cut. You can see the name Chuck Taylor there. So Taylor was an American basketball player and he was a sales representative for Converse. Now you can find Converse in many colors and styles. They look very casual. Now let's go to heeled shoes. High-heeled shoes were first worn in the 10th century as a way to help soldiers keep their shoes in their stirrups. They're also called pumps. Some people say it comes from the Dutch word pampoesje, referring to a variety of low-cut shoe. Pumps can be different and can have different heels and front and back types. Let's go from the smallest to the biggest. Kitten heel. In the 50s, French designer Roger Vivier designed the first official kitten-heeled style shoes. The shoes were made with a 3-4 centimeter, if not lower, heel, so that the young girls could look like their mothers without stepping into the role of sex symbol. Now they're very popular and they come in a lot of different styles. Next one is stiletto. The stiletto heel is a 20th century invention that gets its name from the slender Italian dagger. The stiletto heel first appeared in the 30s and became popular in the 50s. It has been a symbol of sexuality, aggressiveness, and fetishism. The counterculture rejected the stiletto, but it made a comeback in the 80s as a fashion statement for working women. Next one is a cone heel. It just looks like a cone and it was especially popular in the 80s. Chunky heel or platform. It started in ancient Egypt. Thick-soled sandals were a sign of upper-class status and were also worn by butchers to keep their feet clean. Nowadays, any type of a shoe can be with a chunky heel or a platform. Wedge. So wedge is that triangular shape That's all. This is why it's called wedge platforms. The wedge heel characterized by a sole that is raised at the heel and tapers as it moves towards the toe. It was invented by the famous Italian shoe designer Salvatore Ferragamo in the 1930s. This is real 1930s wedge platform shoes. Dorsey. Dorsey shoes are a type of a pump or slipper with no sides or no inner side, or the outer side is lower. There was a gentleman named Alfred Guillaume Gabriel, also known as the Count Dorsey. As a soldier early in his life, he didn't like the military uniform and dress. So in 1838, he designed a men's military shoe that was low-cut on the sides and fit more snugly to the feet. I didn't find any pictures of those original military shoes, but here's examples of different types of shoes with that Dorsey design, including sneakers and loafers. If it's a stiletto Dorsey shoes, they look very cute and delicate on women's foot. Peep-toe. A peep-toe shoe is a woman's shoe in which there is an opening at the toe box which allows the toes to show. Peep-toe shoes were popular in the 1940s. They were named like this for the provocative view of the tips of the toes. Open-toe shoes is same, but any shoes with open front basically. Peep-toe is still a smaller hole at the front of a shoe, so you see your toes just slightly. T-strap shoes. It's just the name of a shoe when the strap looks like letter T. Ankle strap shoe, when the strap is on the ankle. Slingbacks is a type of sandal with an adjustable strap around the ankle, originated in the 1930s with French designer André Perugia. The shoes were controversial when they were first introduced because they exposed a large portion of the foot, which was considered unladylike at the time. To hide the shoes, people often wore them with full-length evening dresses. Now let's go to boots. They're so-called desert boots. It is a lightweight boot with the upper made from suede. These boots became a popular footwear item in southern Africa due to their robust and simple design, often being bought by soldiers for use in the various bush wars of the region. They have become popular across the world as desert boots. Next one is Chelsea. The Chelsea boot originated in Victorian England in the mid-1800s and was initially designed as a riding boot. Chelsea boots inherited their name from their popularity in Chelsea, an affluent and trendy area of London during the 50s and the 60s, particularly on the mod scene. The Beatles made them even more popular. Dr. Martens, a brand name for a type of strong, heavy-looking shoes or boots, with laces and thick rubber soles. Klaus Martens was a doctor in the German army during World War II. After he injured his ankle while skiing, in 1945 he found that his standard-issue army boots were too uncomfortable on his injured foot. He designed improvements to the boots, with soft leather and air-padded soles made of tires. So now both men and women love these shoes. Next one is combat boots. They look actually very similar to Dr. Martens. The modern combat boot, as we know it, was designed in the early 1940s by Wellington Boot Company and first used by the British Army. Next one is biker boots. Originally developed in the 1930s for firemen working on steam locomotives. The boots gained substantial popularity in the post-World War II era during a growing motorcycling culture. In the early 20th century, biker boots were designed to protect motorcyclists while riding. They became popular symbols of teenage rebellion in the 1950s. Next one is bondage boots. It has belts and metal buckles. They were designed to be worn with other clothes from a range called bondage. They look slightly punkish and look a little bit like army combat. Approximately they started being popular around 1976. Next one is Timberland. Timberland boots are a type of footwear made by the company Timberland, which is known for its innovative solutions to everyday problems. The boots were originally designed for factory workers and engineers with the intention of providing comfort, dryness, stability, and support. The boots were also waterproof, warm, and resilient thanks to injection molding technology. It's also called the yellow boot. Next one is Uggs. In 1958, Frank Mortel, the owner of a company that has been making sheepskin boots since the late 1950s, claims he named his boots Ugg boots after his wife called the first pair he made ugly. They are very warm and made with sheepskin. Cowboy boots. This is a style of boot with a pointed toe and a moderately high heel, extending to mid-calf. Cowboy boots are a specific style of riding boot, historically worn by cowboys. Now they present in women's wardrobe too. Wellington. The Wellington boot originated in the late 18th century as a tall, soft boot that had a small heel, tassels, and was made from calfskin, named after the first Duke of Wellington. The boots were considered quite fashionable. Sometimes they call it rain boots. Knee-high boots are boots that reach the knee, or slightly above, or slightly below it. They are often tighter around the ankle and leg shaft than at the top. Knee-high boots were worn by both men and women in the mid-18th century. In the 20th century, women's knee-high boots became a popular fashion item. They can be with heels, higher or lower, or they can be flat. Sometimes they are called riding boots. Thigh-high boots. Thigh-high boots, also known as over-the-knee boots, have a long history dating back to the 15th century. They were originally designed as riding boots for men and were used for military purposes. All these shoes can have combinations of styles and with different kinds of heels. Alright, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to see next from me. Thank you. Bye-bye.